Hello, hello. Black Bean Samson here today. It is November 21st. It will be, it's a little about 8:30. It will be Thanksgiving here tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. Amazing. Eating some good old turkey and stuffing tomorrow. Some cranberry. It's going to be a casserole. Yeah. But this podcast is about the female genital mutilation that the judge just overturned, or whatever. He released the charges on the people, calling it unconstitutional. I'm gonna go on the limb here and say that this guy or girl, I'm not even sure gender, nor do I care. I'm gonna go on the limb and say they think that due to religion reasons, they have the right to destroy young people's bodies without their permission. Kind of like what they do to men. Male genital mutilation, where they cut off the skin, the foreskin, on the head of the dick. Sad is that many people think that's okay still. Many people think it's okay. Some guys who have it off think it's better to have it off. And I'm like, how do you know any difference on having it or not having it if you've never have had it since you were born? Pretty much. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I can't even remember when I used to wear diapers, let alone the foreskin on my dick. And I had it cut off when I was a year old. And my aunt told me when I was, I think maybe I was 2 years old. She was telling me I was walking around going, my pee-pee hurts. My pee-pee hurts. Yeah, motherfuckers! And everybody felt bad. And they should have, and they felt sorry. And they did say sorry to me. Even my aunt, my mom has apologized. They wish they never did it. They didn't realize that they were removing a choice from me. It's very interesting how that. I'm going to kind of be going everywhere in this thing always, but it's kind of really interesting on how women talk about choice. Choice. It's okay to cut off men's pieces and limbs off without choice. But, when a woman chooses to have sex, she gets to have a choice to kill a baby, too, off. And where nobody can choose her to continue that pregnancy if she chooses to have sex. Oh, it's just really interesting how these choose word happens. My body, my choice, right? I can't wrap my head around this shit. The Me Too movement, all this shit, they're like, that's political, emotional shit. Because if there was really a problem with destroying young minds and young bodies, right here. Right here. Unconstitutional. How is it even constitutional that they're allowed to do it? I mean, you're removing the choice from the child due to the parents' religious reasons. I just don't get it. Either this judge has some weird fucked up history themselves. They lack totally emotions. I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. out of all the activist fucking stupid ass judges that could have done something, this is what you do. I mean, lately they have all these judges that go, oh no president, you can't do your constitutional power which allows you to do, like, you know, putting in a temporary AG, Attorney General. I think that's what it is, Attorney General, to take after Jeff Sessions, whatever his Whitaker, whatever his name is. He's a big motherfucker compared to Jeff Sessions. Now you can tell one man had his balls cut off at some point, and another man was, I don't even know, just fed baby calves. At least the video shot I seen next to him, he was big compared to Jeff Sessions. It's female genital mutilation. There was laws that they enacted. I don't know if it was through Congress or whatever, and that's what the federal judge is claiming is unconstitutional. I just don't get it. I mean, if all these judges could be activist judges for immigrants, wouldn't you think you could be an activist judge to save children? To like literally save children that are already in the country. You know, it's interesting how, like, Poland and countries like Poland don't have really any of these issues. Don't have any of these issues. So it's really interesting. It's like the more people come together, the more issues there is. The more of the same group, less of the, well, they can't like outsource their issues. They can't point their fingers and be like, that is the cause of my issue. It's a lot harder to do. You really only blame yourself. But, you know, this female genital mutilation, I think what it does bring up, and sadly there'll probably be more girls that will have this happen to them in the meantime, because it gives way for that to happen, because the judge, rather than ruling in favor and allowing the Muslim community to have to challenge the ruling, he could have been that activist judge, you know, since they don't mind letting people into this country, stopping people that have constitutional power to do so. No problem with that. But what's the problem with laying laws down? It's a very strange time right now. You know, I read the other day, it was about martial law. And it was something about how, like, judges and lawyers and that, once they get so corrupt, and when you have politicians that are so corrupt, and then you start having police departments that are getting corrupt because of it all, there's only a very few ways to really, like, settle all that problem. That's like the swamp, you know what I mean? You gotta drain it. And martial law is that is that remedy. It's that plug. Pull that plug. I don't know. I really don't want martial law. It's like literally the last thing that should ever happen to bring back some type of civilness. More and more, all these judges are just not being judges anymore. They're being activists. See, I mean, this judge was, I think, in my eyes, is being an activist for the Muslim community, rather than being an activist for the children. I mean, of all the people to be activists for, you're going to be activists for the Muslim community and not for the children. It really just shows you a disregard for the children. It shows you really disregard for human life, and more for like ideology is more important than human life and like human choice. So I know it's just weird. It's like who is this person? Who is this judge? Why would you think that mutilating children's genitals and being charged for that is unconstitutional? Like, I just don't, because that's what they claim, that's what they like to do for their religion. Well, if that's the case, Judge, then why aren't you ruling in favor for people who smoke pot and claim that's their religion, Judge? Like, there's a whole bunch of religions out there that are just horrible. And if they were able to practice their rituals in this country, you're literally talking about like incest, rape, murder, just some of the most vile shit. So what is the perimeter on this? Where's the boundaries of this? That's against their unconstitutional to the religion. Like where is the boundaries on this? I don't understand. And I don't think many people will when it comes to, especially when it comes to like children, when you're knowing you're mutilating body parts. Slowly but surely, I believe the awareness for men is coming around. I think it's gotten down a little bit. It used to be a little over 30% of the males in this country were circumcised, so roughly about half the country, I believe, at one time was being circumcised. It's actually quite a bit. And that's gone down, I believe. I'm not really quite sure. I haven't looked up the statistics lately, but I know out of that, like a huge number, like out of that percentage, out of the 100% of the males that are circumcised, like 30% of them or something like that have genital issues. They have erectile issues and stuff because of that foreskin being removed. And I'm glad I don't suffer from any of those issues. To me, it's horrible. It's horrible to know that doctors push for this because they get government money. It's like 90% of the time never paid by the parents. So it's just quick, easy money for the doctors. The doctors are fucking evil on that shit when it comes to that. It's no sympathy or emotions towards male. It's just male expendability. And now we're having, it's just that evil is so enriching them. Now judges are ruling that it's unconstitutional to charge people for removing women's genital parts. What surgery is this? Because there's like 3 or 4 different forms of female genital mutilations. There's like a part where they cut off the hood, and another one that cuts off the hood and the clit, the one that cuts off like the lips, and then there's like one that like sews, like cuts it all up, but also like sews things up. I don't know. It's all horrible to me. That's all I know. And what I know is this judge lacks all understanding of what this country was about. It was about freedom. Freedom from tyranny to ourselves. And I tell you what, when people are removing body parts from us, no matter who they are, is a form of tyranny. And for a judge to automatically go towards, oh, it's unconstitutional, and it's most likely because of their Muslim ideology. That's a scary thought. It's a scary thought that we know that judges out there believe that the ideologies are more important than the human body and having choice over their own body. That's crazy. I bet this judge, though, is perfectly fine with abortion. I bet this judge is perfectly fine giving an excuse to women to have sex, casual sex, and just abort babies when they decide that they don't want that child. I bet this judge is that way. I mean, you can only be this fucked up and not be an activist judge for children. And I just don't see you battling for unborn babies if you're not going to battle for, a 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old child. So I bet they're getting that shit done even to ages of that late of ages. This America is slowly slipping into being like a European country. Literally, like I was talking about martial law is the only way to stop this country from actually slipping into the European fucked up madness that's going on over there. That's literally the only way. It's the only way. And so far, I think since the majority still has the power that there is, I think it needs to be used. I think it's about that time when that power is used. Yeah, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty, and I don't wish it upon anyone. I really don't. I don't know what else it's going to take. Besides aliens coming down and we all have to unite to battle it? No. There's nothing to unite us no more. There's nothing no more. It's all about division between the media, between many people in the government, on both sides. And the more that we just destroy our children, it's just like one step closer to the tipping point of what happened with the very early times of the 19th century, like the beginning of 19th century in Germany. They treated their children like horrible. Look at what happened over time. Look what happened. It took about 30 years of treating their children just horrible. Then you had, World War I. And then World War II, they still treated their children like shit. Or you just don't get over treating your children like shit. And you know what's funny? They still treat their children like shit. And they said, but they treated themselves so much like shit. They've depressed themselves and degraded themselves and destroyed their humanity and destroyed their all sense of honor to the point of all they know is guilt. Look at them over there, and that's sadly what's kind of what's happening over here. A whole bunch of people are starting to feel like they have to be guilt. into something. Now people believe that having children is bad, so they are guilty for having children. So it's better to have abortions or killing babies. Or it's better to actually have female mutilation because it makes them not really have any sexual interest, so it doesn't really make them want to have kids. It's just like stupid arguments like that. I can imagine they would make up ones like that. Less kids, hooray! I don't see what a turning point is at this point. Like when judges are allowing female mutilation, that's like it's an actual, to me that's a kind of like a sign. And the reason why, and maybe I should have said this in the beginning, but I feel, I know that's not feel, I know that when women are being openly allowed to be like essentially destroyed at young ages, men especially are no longer men. There's like, or the amount of men that used to be are just not at power like they once were. Because weak men are the ones that allow evil stuff like this to happen. Weak men are the cause of a lot of the issues in this country. And weak men only exist due to, well, look at the two major wars, World War I and World War II. Look at all those men that died on. And then all those women who had to pick up arms and go to work and survive, well, a lot of them end up raising kids on their own. Really, in history, yes, a lot of times men died off in battles and wars and stuff, but the battles and wars were never to the extent of World War I and II. Millions of bodies just didn't get murdered off in a battle. Out of like 1,000 people who were fighting against each other 1,000 years ago, you're talking about maybe less than 100 people dying and the war being settled. And if you compare that to the war of back then, I mean, you're talking millions. Like what, 40 freaking million or something in the end? That's crazy, a lot. 40 million, I don't know, it's something high. It might be higher than that. Like, there's no battle back then that can compare to those amount of deaths. And I believe that is a huge part of the reason why Western cultures have degraded so much, because all those strong men have been killed off, and now all the weak men, well, they've always been afraid of the strong men, so they've done things to put strong men down, and I kind of starting to believe that there was there's people who are pushing for stuff into foods to essentially weaken and dumb down the society. I mean, who lobbies for this much sugar and not expect to have a country that's... I mean, I understand you want to make money, but don't you love this country? Don't you want its people to be strong and smart and bright? I mean, I understand you want to make money, but do you really gotta make money like that? I just don't get it. Like, that's where that whole, I think, the vampiric idea of a CEO comes from. Is the fact that you just never quit. You never quit. You just keep on more and more, and you never do anything to show that it should be more treated like a gift rather than like water. You can drink water damn near all day long. You're not gonna have much of an issue besides a lot of pissing. You eat candy all day long forever, you're gonna have some serious health issues. Guaranteed. It's it seems like a lack of passion from all these major, wealthy, powerful people, like actual, true love for the country and for the people. And that, I swear, that's the difference between the people who made this country to the people who essentially run the country now, or who are in control of the majority of the business system. They don't. All they have is an interest in purely themselves. Purely themselves. Maybe not all, but it seems like most. Because if you think if it was more the other way, we would see more billionaires out there, or more multi-millionaires out there trying to do things. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking wrong on this. But the reason why I bring those people up is because it's like a lot of those people are the same type of people who advocate for Me Too, or advocate for, a lot of democratic stuff. We're supposed to help children, save children, education, and blah blah blah. And look here, female genital mutilation, zero, crickets. Pretty much coming from the left. And even if you do, I guarantee it's going to be a bunch of excuses. There'll be a few that will be like, no, that's wrong. There'll be a few. But I guarantee there'll be far more that are for it and acceptance of it. So where does it end? Does it end just at Muslims, or does it end at voodoo? Does it end at sacrificial rituals? Or where does it end? Because it's unconstitutional because of the religion, where does it end? There has to be some type of sensibility about this. And one thing's for sure, this judge that ruled in this way, well, you have all these other judges being activist judge. Time to be an activist for children rather than an activist for the spotlight. If you like this podcast, please like and subscribe. If you didn't like this podcast, please like and subscribe. Comment below if you have any advice or just want to tell me how bad I do this. Alright, thank you. Have a great day.